Hello my beauties and welcome to my full review and 3 looks with what was in that chocolate heart box, which is this. So yeah, I did a first impression with this as well, which is linked above and below. It's linked. What you will see in a minute are the looks that I did with each palette. At the end of the video I give you my final thoughts, if the box is worth your money or not. I will also show you the swatches that I did, the look that I did with the face palette, and what was in that box again. You get 2 eyeshadow palettes. You get this one, which is called Peanut Buttercup, and I will show it to you if I can open it real quick. So this is the Peanut Buttercup. And you get the red velvet, which looks like this, and this is the inside. Then you get a face palette, which is called Praline, which looks like this. I'm sorry for the shine. And this is the inside. And then you get a chocolate heart bronzer, which looks like this. All the palettes, or actually all the stuff that is in here as of now, is limited to that chocolate heart gift box. We are going to start in a minute with 2 looks that I did with the Peanut Buttercup. Then you will see the 2 looks that I did with the red velvet, and then last but certainly not least, you will see this look which I did with the Praline. So without further ado, let's just get started with the first palette, the Peanut Buttercup, and here comes the looks, or come the looks. I thought let's do a warm toned one on one eye, cool toned one on the other eye. So let's just get a crack in. Let's use this one, and to start with the color Peanut Butter and see how I can build it up. I haven't set my base, just so you know, and all my face bronzer and that kind of thing is the, oh, I didn't bronze, I just contoured anyway, is the face palette that came with it. So yeah, let's plop the color Peanut Butter here. I'm tapping it on as usual. And because I haven't set my base, the color will be more vibrant and it will stick to my eye. So that is the first color. Let me also plop that underneath my eyes. I'm going to use kind of a flat but a little bit more denser brush. I'm going to go into the color Peanut Butter and plop that underneath my eyes as well. That is not what I want. Okay, I'm getting a fluffier brush, and I also have a little bit of eye primer right there, so that I can make the shadow stick a little bit better there. Going to use this brush to connect it here, and then blend out the edge a bit. The color is really light. Let's see if we can build it up some more. Let me get a different brush for that. Let me get one of these, which is an angled brush. I'm just going to stamp it on, and the denser the brush, the more shadow you lay down. Let's go into the color Caramel, which is that goldish shimmer. I'm going to try it on a brush first, just a small detail brush. Pretty. I want to bring it up as well. Why? Because I can. But I don't want it as foiled. So I'm actually using the same brush, but now it's dry. And I'm just bringing this up a little higher. Get a brush and make sure it's clean, and then just blend it out a bit. I like that. Okay, I also want that same color on my lower lash line. So I'm plopping it on my brush again. I'm going to spray it and plop it close to the lash line, actually on top of the lash line. And this is actually quite a simple monochromatic look. If you want to, you can deepen it up a little bit. So let me go with this brush into the color Case. I think I'm going to take very lightly, tap it off and just press that in the outer corner. Let me get a different brush. So let's blend that out a little. Tapping into Case really lightly with this brush. I want to really blend it out because I only wanted a little bit of definition in the crease. But because it's quite a pigmented dark color, it's a little bit more than I bargained for. I'm just going to really blend it out. Let me get a little bit of the color Peanut Butter, the first one we used. Just go over that. Then a little bit of the color Caramel, shimmer. And kind of lock it behind the other shades, if that makes sense. A tiny bit of that color Case here on the lower lash line, just in the outer corner. And up. And I'm going to smudge that corner because I don't want that color too harsh. I'm taking Caramel again and just go over that part. And that is kind of one eye done. The only thing I need is an inner corner highlight. Cleaning off the brush. Let's use the color Salty, which is just a white shimmer, this one. It's really pretty. I'm using it dry first. You could also use a sponge tip. You can also use this wet. Okay, let's use it wet and see what it does. Ooh. Oh, that's nice. And usually if you use a color wet, it's the same effect as with a sponge tip. So this is one eye done. Okay. Because I'm going to use a very dark shade that I want to blend out a lot, I am actually going to set a part of my eye. So I'm using the color Cashew on a big brush, and I'm going to tap that on my upper eyelid because I don't want the shade I'm going to use to stick too much. And this is what I do if I either use a very cool toned shadow, which I know I will have difficulty blending out, or if I want to really sheer out the color anyway, I will set part of my base, usually the part here where I want to blend it out, but because I want to use this shadow sheer, I am going to set my base. Okay, let's start with a really, this is a really fluffy brush, and I'm going to go into the color Cup, which is this color, lightly, and let's start placing it. And I'm not too worried that I'm going over my mobile lid because I'm putting a shimmer on top of it anyway. And this is because I have set my base, because I'm using a fluffy brush, I can sheer out the color. And that is what I wanted. The only thing I have to say about this brush is that it is actually too pointy. So let me try this one. This is a Morphe M514. It's the only Morphe brush I have. I'm dipping it lightly in the color Cup to get a little bit of pigment on my brush. I have a tiny bit, really tiny bit of pigment. And let's use this one. Let's blend it out. And it is a pretty color. It's not patchy, so that is really good. I also want this, of course, underneath my eye, and I have to go in really lightly. So tap it in and just now what I can do with this color, because it is so dark, I can use it to deepen up the crease. So I'm going to go into that color Cup, going to really look down, and I'm going to use it to deepen up the crease. So this is what I have now. and maybe I need to clean it up a little bit later. So this is what I have now. Now I'm going to go into the color foil. It's such a unique shade. It does have a shift in it. I have swatched it on my hand, and this one seems to be, I don't know, a very dark grayish purple with a silvery shift or something. It's really pretty. And down as well. I'm going to go into the color foil with this brush just a little, just a tiny bit, and just bring it a little bit higher. Okay, inner corner highlight is going to be the same thing as I did on the other eye, the white one. It's called Salty. Pretty. Yep. So what I'm going to do now is just clean it up a tiny bit here maybe, and put on a little liner, some mascara. I will choose Lippy, and then I will be back to show you the look just before my falsies. Hold on, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. So this is how the look turned out with liner and mascara and all that goodness. The liner was a little bit thicker than I had originally planned. This eye went okay, and this I thought I want a bigger line. So then I had to even them out, and anyway, everything I used will be down in the description box. Now I'm going to put on my falsies. So here is the finished look with my falsies on, and I like it. So this was 2 looks with the Peanut Buttercup palette. Get ready for the 2 looks with the Red Velvet palette. So all ready for 2 looks with this palette, which is called Red Velvet. Yesterday, or the first look which I filmed yesterday, was warm cool. Let's do cool warm. So let's do brown on this eye. So I have to start with blend, which is that one. Let me zoom you in just a tad. Okay, so all nice and zoomed in. Let's start with the color blend, and let's start with this brush from BH Cosmetics with the color blend. I haven't set my base, so I'm just going to stamp it in place. Let's move over to the color Baked, which is this one. I'm still using the same brush. Because I already laid down a shadow, I can just plop this on my eye. And the reason I'm using more shadows in this palette than the previous palette is because I haven't used this palette a lot off camera. So yeah, that is why. Okay, I like this color. I also want to bring it down, so I'm taking this brush in the color Baked. It is a pretty brown though. Yeah, something like that. Okay, let's take this brush and the color Blend, because I want to blend it out with this color. It is going to be a little bit orangey, isn't it? It's nice. Okay, that's that. I'm cleaning off that brush. I'm going to go into the color Crumbs, which is this one, which is a bit more reddish brown, and I'm going to deepen up the crease. The colors are nice, they blend nice, they are nice and pigmented. It actually goes really nicely on top of 2 shadows, to be honest. It's a nicely dark deep shadow. It's a very pretty color, this. I like this color. Okay, let's also bring that down. So I'm taking this brush, which is a flatter brush, but a little bit more fluffy at the same time, if that makes sense. Going into the color Crumbs, and I'm stamping it on my lash line and kind of fading it out. I like this color. So what I'm going to do is kind of bring it up a little bit higher. Nothing extra on my brush. Just going to blend it out a bit. Did I not say this eye was going to be brownish? Story of my life. Okay, let's get a little bit of the color blend and plop that here. Let's clean it up with the color Cream Cheese, which is this one. It's a matte, and I'm going to use that to highlight here and kind of clean it up a bit. Something like that, yes. Okay, let's go to the shimmers. So I have my brush, I cleaned it. I'm going to go into this color, Lush, which is, I don't know, very pretty. And let's use a dry first. I'm getting fallout, just a tiny bit. It's not too bad dry though. So let's spray it and see what it does. Of course, let's see what it does. Oh, to be honest, I don't think there is much difference. I want to bring it in just a little bit more. So let's also go into the color Brown Sugar, which is that gold. Again, dry. Pretty, very nice color. Let's plop it a little bit on top of that purplish shade. A little bit more. I'm just going to drag it across. I don't have a lot on my brush. I just want to kind of blend them into each other, if that makes sense. Yes, something like that. Yes, okay. I want the same thing on my bottom eye. So I'm going to go into that color Lush, and I'm placing this on top of my lashes. And now I'm going to go into the color Brown Sugar. Like so. So that is one eye done. We're going to go over to the other eye. So let me start with Treat, and then I can blend it out with Patisserie. So I'm going to start with this one. And again, I did not set the base. Let's see how vibrant we can get it. So I'm going to take, what is it, kind of an angled brush into the color Treat, and let's press that on my eye. I'm just packing this color on. Oh, it's not too bad, I think. Okay, now I'm going to go into the color Patisserie, which is this one, on a small brush. Now I'm going to blend the edge. Okay, let's plop that shadow, the color Treat, down as well. I'm getting my small brush. Don't mind me. I'm going to go into the color Cupcake, which is this one, with my small detail brush. And this is more of a satin. And I have a lot of kick up in the pen, so I'm going to spray. Just to minimize fallout, and I'm going to place this on the outside of my eye. Oh, pretty. It's a pretty color. I'm also going to place it down. Next, I'm going to go into the color Decadent, which is this one, which is more of a shimmer. So I think I will have less kick up. Yeah, I have less kick up in the pan, so I can use it dry first. Let's use it wet. It looks like this shadow kind of doesn't like being used wet, if that makes sense. Which is weird. Let me get my finger. Granted, I do have some creasing here in my eye, just because I'm 42. It's a very pretty color though, so let's plop it underneath as well. Pretty. I don't feel there's much difference between my eyes, but okay, let's go inner corner highlight. Let's try the color Sweet, which is kind of a, I don't know, cream, and it's not really that blinding, is it? Let's try it wet. That is a bit better. It is still not as blinding as the highlight though. It's okay. I can use this shade underneath my brow bone, I think. Let's get this brush. I don't know. Let's go into the color Sweet and just place it here and there for a little shimmery shimmer. Nice. Okay, what I'm going to do is mascara, eyeliner, lippy, and then I will be back and show you the look just before I put on my falsies. So hold on, I'll be right back. So I am back, and let me zoom you out just a tad. Yes, there I am. So a bit more zoomed out so you can, well, admire the full effect. That is me. Anyway, I added liner, I added mascara. So what I'm going to do now is plop on my falsies. And that will take, well, 2 seconds. Well, not only 2 seconds for you, maybe a half an hour for me, depending on how they want to play today. But yeah, hold on, I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. So my falsies are on, and this is the finished look. Well, the finished looks, actually, with the red velvet palette. The falsies I have are the same as I wore yesterday. The Ardell Fright Nights in Bet Those Lashes. And the reason I have these on is, one, I can wear these with my glasses on, and two, they were right in front of me. So that is why I like them, I do. And I think they go nicely with this look as well, or these looks, because yeah, I have two different eyes. So this concludes the part of the red velvet palette. And well, the last one is coming up, isn't it? Yeah. So get ready for the look and review of the face palette, which is called Praline, because it is coming now. So the last palette, and I have discovered that I can zoom you in my software, so I don't have to zoom you in with my camera. Anyway, base is on, eyes are primed and all that goodness, and we are going to, well, I am going to create two looks with this one. One eye is going to be brown with these two, other eye is going to be pink with these two. This one is going to go as inner corner highlight, and I'm going to use everything on my face. So that is it. So let's get cracking. I'm gonna take a brush. Let's start with the brown side, because the brown one, the shade called Temper, is the only matte in the palette. Technically, I'm starting with this one, which is a brush from BH, and it is a fluffier brush, but a little bit more stiff as well, and that's a really nice brush, I find, to pack on color. So let's start with the color Temper. Let's plop it on the eye. I haven't set my base, I'm stamping it on. Now I'm blending it out. That goes really smoothly. I want it a bit higher here. Plop it there. I'm switching brushes. I'm taking this one with it, which is a small blending brush. Taking it underneath my eye as well. And let's see how deep we can get this shadow. That's nice. Okay. Switching brush again. I'm just taking a very fluffy brush. I'm just going to go over this edge. And it blends in really nicely. So that is good. Okay. I'm taking a small detail brush, and I'm going to go into the color Praline, which is that shimmery brown. I'm going to plop that on my eye. Let's use it dry first. Oh, that's nice. Let's see what happens if I spray it. I don't know if it makes a difference. Actually, I am drying my brush because I want to get a bit more, and I don't want to go in my shadow with a wet brush, because that way you create heartburn. But it doesn't really matter if you use this one, dry or wet. Let's bring it underneath my eye as well. Okay, cleaning that brush off. I only have one. I ordered more, but that just means that I have to keep cleaning it. I do know, however, that the white one, fondant, is better. It is more blinding wet, so I'm going to use this wet. So I'm loading up my brush to get as much on as possible. Then I'm going to spray. And now I'm going to plop that on the part it's so pretty. The part we left open and the inner corner highlight, and drag it across. Also want it down. And now that my brush is dry, I'm going to pack a little bit more on. Very nice. So that is one eye done. Really, I think it's one of the fastest eye looks I have done. Anyway, we're going to go to the other eye. I'm going to use the same brushes. I'm going to use that same brush again, and I'm going to go first in the color Apple, which is the blush. Then I'm going to plop this on the lid, which is Bonbon, and then top it off with that one again. So let's see how pink we can get this shade. So, tapping it on. I did really swirl my brush in because this is a harder formula than the others. And it has a little bit of a satin finish on your eye. If you want to, you can deepen up the crease with that brown shade. I don't know if I want to though. I'm taking this brush in the color Apple to get it underneath my eye as well. The denser the brush you use, the more pigmented the color gets. Okay, let's get that really fluffy brush and go over the edge here. So I'm starting with the color Bonbon on my tiny brush. Let's see what it does dry. Let's see, because it's actually a blush topper, what it does if I place it on top of Apple, which is that blush. So let's plop that on the... It goes on really easily, so that is good. Okay, color Bonbon again. Yeah, it is a little bit more of a blush topper, I think. Let's try it wet. I don't know if that makes a difference. I don't know if that makes a difference. So I'll bring that one down as well. Okay, clean the brush for the color Fondant, which is the white shimmer. And then we are done with the eyes. So this is the color Dry, because I forgot to spray. Let's use it wet. So, nice. Yes, let me plop on a little bit of liner real quick. So, liner and mascara is on, and I made a boo-boo there. I blinked, but it is what it is. So, this is the eye look with just mascara and liner. And I think it's really pretty. Let's do the rest of the face, and let's start with contour. So I'm going to go into the color Temper with a brush like this. Gently. I'm actually pressing my brush in, tapping it off. First time I used this, I went in too heavy-handed. It was not pretty. So that one is there. Let me get a different brush to blend it out. This is just a tapered brush, and I'm doing circles upwards and back. Now I do have to say I'm not the best at contouring, just so you know. So it could be that I'm doing it all wrong. Okay, let's do the forehead. It is very dark. And if you think it's too much, you can always get your beauty blender or the sponge that you used for your foundation and just bounce over it a bit, like so. Okay. But let's do for Falsies the nose. I never do my nose. I have my cute essence brush. And let's go into the blush, which is called Apple. And I always place my brush with dabbing motions. And then I blend it out. As you see, while I'm blending this out, it kind of gets a sheen. Now I like a bit of a blush. If you don't, again, go over it with your beauty blender and press it in. Let's get the color Bonbon as well, just on the same brush. And Bonbon is this one, which I'm going to use as a blush topper. I like a shimmery blush. I'm just going to sweep that across. Now, if you are darker than me, I think you could use this as a highlight as well. If I do, it's actually too dark. You kind of see a streak. I don't want that. It's a nice sheen. Oh, I forgot bronzer. So let's do bronzer as well. And I'm not really good with bronzer either, so I hope I don't mess up. I'm using this brush. Let's get into the bronzer. And the bronzer I use is also from the kit, from the set. It's the heart-shaped box. It's actually a little bit too dark for me, I think. Let's place it anyway. I feel like I look ridiculous. Okay, so let's get to highlight. I am not going to use the color Praline because for me, and that's this color, for me it is just too dark. I think I can use it in summer though, when my skin is a bit deeper, as a bronzing topper. But as you saw, you can really nicely use it on the eye. So this is pretty. Now it is a powdery highlight and quite glittery. If you don't like that, I will show you how I usually work with this highlight, because I actually use it quite often. Now I have a glitter nose. That's probably not a good idea. Let's put a little bit there as well. So what I do then is I take my fan brush and I buff back. So at first I just sweep it back like that, but then faster, and then I buff in circles. And I like this fan brush for that because it is a bit fluffier. So when you buff it out, you don't have any glitter particles left on your face. So yeah, this is the face. I'm shiny. I'm going to plop on my falsies and pick out a lippy, and then I will be back and I will discuss with you, well, the palettes, and if I think that all this is worth your money. So hold on, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Everything is on and I'm ready to give you my thoughts. What I will do in a minute is I will touch on each palette separately. I will show you a clip of swatches that I did of each palette as well. But you know what? Let's start with this one because why not? I used it, why not? So you saw them in action, but I am going to swatch them real quick for you. Okay, so here is Temper. Then we have Apple. Then we have Bonbon. And then we have Praline. And last is Fondant. So here's the palette. You saw it in action. So you saw that you can create a full look with this palette. Face and eyes is what I mean with full look. What do I think about it? If you are lighter than me, I don't know if you could use this maybe with a really light hand and a fluffy brush. You can, I think, use the apple, the blush, and this one. The rest I don't know. So if you are lighter than me and you have this collection, please let me know how it works out for you. If you are deeper than me, not very deep yet, but deeper than me, so medium, I think you can use everything. If you are deeper than that, I don't think you can use this one because I think it won't show up then. This one I'm not sure about if you can get it pigmented enough so that it will show up, but I do think that you can use these three. And again, as you saw, I did eyes and face with it. Now, I don't travel a lot. Well, I actually never travel. And if I travel, it's only a day. So I don't care if my palette is travel friendly or not. But I think that this is, because you can just plop it in your bag along with some foundation, concealer, a few brushes, and you can create your whole look with this. So I think it is a very, very, very nice palette. Okay, let's go to the bronzer. That's this one. I used it today. It is technically a little bit too dark for me, I think, now, but I can nicely use this in summer, so this will be my summer bronzer. Very, very pretty. I like a shimmer in my bronzer as well. So, okay, let's go to the peanut butter cup, which I used first. First, let me insert the clip of the swatches. And I did the swatches just after I did that look, so just so you know. But again, here is the palette again. It's really pretty, and I gravitate a lot towards these colors. Some people might look at this and think, oh, that's a warm neutral palette, but let me explain something for you. For me, or to you, for me, neutral palette is a predominantly, am I saying that correct? I don't know, brown palette. So here you have the color Cocoa, which is a brown with some golden flecks in it, but they don't show up. The Milk Chocolate is a brown, but it is a gray brown. It's a weird color. This is more of a khaki color. So when I look at this palette, I see three brown shades. That's Cocoa, Peanut Butter, and Milk Chocolate. And then when I look a second time, I'm like, they're not your typical brown shade. So that may sound really weird, especially because I'm a colorful lover or color lover. But they are browns, yes, at least these three are for me. But they are a little bit off. Does that make sense? So I find them intriguing. I used every shade in this palette and it is my favorite. I think the quality is really, really good. I think you can create gorgeous looks with it. You can go, you know, all out, but you can also do two-tone or two shadow looks. So just use a matte and a shimmer. If you use, for instance, this one called Smooth and then pair it with Crunchy next to it, I think that's really, really pretty. This color Salty is a really good shimmery white shade. It's actually the best shimmery white eyeshadow that I have currently in my collection. So this is a really nice one. This one is really light. I can use this as an eraser shade, but not for anything else really. There is not really a shade that I would swap in this palette. I think it is a very nice palette, and again the quality is really, really nice. Let's go to the well, last thing in the box then, which is the Red Velvet palette. Let me first insert the swatches that I did. And again, I did the swatches, well, right after I filmed the looks. So This is the packaging, and when I saw this I was like, ooh, red and white, Christmassy, I'm going to get reds. And then I saw the inside and I was like, oh, I don't have any reds. So I was a little bit disappointed with that. Then when I got over that, the first shade that actually piques my interest is this one, which is called Beetroot, which is weird because it's not really the color of beetroot, but it is a really nice shade. It's really pretty. I used it in my first impression, but for me it doesn't really go into the color story. Does that make sense? The weird thing is that when I look at this palette, I see more brown shades than in the Peanut Buttercup, which is kind of weird. But yeah, so for me, this one, the color Blend, looks brown but turns orangey on your eye, it is a really pretty color. And then you have Caramelize, which looks very, very close to Peanut Butter in the other palette. This one is just slightly darker, but on your eye you won't see a difference. Chocolate, this one is also a little bit of a cooler one, so more towards gray. This one is brownish, but on the warmer side, I think. I don't know. You know, I don't know how to describe brown shades. For me, they're brown. But anyway, so yeah. Besides the fact that I am of the opinion that we should have at least 2 red shades in here, a matte red and a shimmer red. It is a pretty palette. This color Cream Cheese doesn't really do anything. It doesn't show up, and I don't like that shade, or at least it's a blah shade. I don't have an opinion. This color Sweet is not as good as the color Frosting in the other palette. It's also not white, it's more off-white, but meh. The color Frosting here is white with a pink shift. If you don't have that, then it is a pretty color to have in this palette. I have a few of those, so I could have lived without. But overall, the shadows, how they perform really, really nicely. You can shear them out if you take a fluffier brush and use it on a set base. So for instance, maybe use, I don't know, this color Cream Cheese to set your concealer first, and then you can get a wash of color. And if you want to build them up, you can as well. Just use smaller brushes and use it on a non-set base, which is maybe kind of a little bit sticky. Out of the 2 eyeshadow palettes that are in here, maybe you could have guessed, this one is my favorite, especially this time of year. I do like the color story in this one as well, but I wished that they would have made this red pink instead, or purplish, but not red, because when I look at this package I see a red and I expect a red and it's not in there. So points off for that. Is it worth your money? Because that is what you want to know as well. Let me rephrase. Was it worth my money? Because I cannot speak for your money. I can only speak for my money. Was it worth my money? The price I paid for it, definitely. I paid €24.99, so let's round it up and say 25 euros, which is, depending on the exchange rate, somewhere between $27 and $30. It depends a little bit. Everything that I show you, by the way, is limited to the box, but maybe they will bring something individually. You never know with Revolution. I hope they bring this one out and the face palette, actually. Normally, these chocolate boxes retail for, say, 11 euros. I'm rounding it up a cent. So 11 euros. So here, this is 22 euros worth of value. The face palette, I don't know. I think it would retail about the same price. So I just also picked 11 euros for this because I'm not really sure. So then I'm at 33. These bronzers usually retail for 6. Again, they're $5.99, but 6 is just easier for me to say. And then I get a total of, well, you know, round it up a little bit. It's a few cents. You get 39 euros. So that is about the value of products that are in the box. If you pay full price in euros, it will be, I think, 35. So then it is technically worth your money. I do have to say, however, shop around. If you like both these color stories, then it is definitely worth your money. But if you're like me and you're like, I actually only like one of the eye palettes, shop around, because technically I got this one for free with what I paid for it. So yeah, I think it was definitely worth the 25 euros that I paid for it. Would I pay full price for it? I think I would. Yeah, I still think I would, because the quality is good. The quality is a lot better than their older chocolate bar palettes. The face palette is amazing, and it is something I grab almost daily. So that one is definitely worth it for me. And again, I think the box is worth it. But I said it before, shop around, because the better the deal, the better it is, I think. So yeah, I think that is it for me. I don't know what else to tell you. The formula is nice. The mattes work beautifully. They blend nicely. Even the darker shades blend really good. The shimmers are really nice. Some are not as foiled maybe as I personally would have liked. But if you spray them, you get better payoff. That is it, actually. So yeah, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Let me know if you have the box. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, give it a thumbs down. That's what it's there for. Thank you so much for watching this entire video. You are a trooper. So give yourself 2 pats. Otherwise you're walking crookedly. That's what we say. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now. I'm going to edit the video so it can go up hopefully tomorrow. And for now, yeah, I wish you all a great day, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye guys.